One of the huge issues that's misunderstood by people, and I think Ben Potgieter, who made a comment in the side chat, sums it up. He says, there is never too many elephants. Now, you sent me some figures about elephants in various national parks, and what I want to do is I want to actually go through those figures with you and then discuss what is the actual problem. Kruger National Park in South Africa, 8,000 square miles or 20,000 square kilometers, has a carrying capacity of only about 3,500 elephants. When the habitat was still healthy in the 1950s, and now today we have something like 34,000 elephants in the Kruger National Park, which is 10 times the number of elephants it should be carrying. And as you say, the population is still growing. Now, please explain to people exactly what is the problem with having too many elephants. And I'm going to use the example, and I was thinking about this. Imagine you go to your local zoo, and you've got the elephant pen, and there are 20 elephants sitting in an area the size of a house, and that they can hardly move because there's so many of them. You know, there would be an outcry. People would be saying, that's absolutely ridiculous. You've got too many elephants in too small an area in that zoo. But there is no understanding that basically the same thing is happening on the ground in these parks. Can you just enlarge on that for us?
Okay, this is an immense problem. It's a huge subject. But let's try and see what we could do. What everybody must understand is that our conservation priorities, if you like, or our wildlife management priorities, which is a better way of putting it, are first of all, the first priority is to maintain the soil in good health. Because without soil, you don't get plants. And without plants, you haven't got any animals. There'd be no life on Earth. So the first thing you have to look after, your priority consideration is to look after the soil. Your second priority is to look after the plants, because as I've just said, without plants, you get no animals. So your second priority is to look after the plants. And the plants do a number of different things for the environment. They provide food for animals. They provide cover for the animals. They provide, let me think now, all sorts of things. The animals, they are the energy source for all the animals. And without soil, without plants, there would be no animals. Now, your animals come last in this priority list, not because they are unimportant. Animals are always very important, but they come last on the list because they are less important than the soil and the plants. So that is our priority conservation or wildlife management responsibilities.
And can I just say, Ron, can I just say that it looks like when you look at organizations like CITES, that they don't understand this. They see the most critical aspect is the animals, the elephants, the rhinos, or whatever. They don't have an understanding of what you're saying right now.
You know, there are a lot of good people in CITES, but there are also a lot of opposite, other than good people. CITES philosophy is controlled by a very large majority of animal rights accredited NGOs. And they are very, very wealthy people. And they dictate, you go to these CITES debate, you'll find that the animal rights are dictating what is going on. And they have virtually convinced CITES now to abandon their original purpose. The original purpose was to regulate wildlife trade on behalf of all the sovereign states of the world. And there are 183 sovereign states who are members of CITES. Animal rights is states. But the sovereign states rely on CITES to be able to guide them and provide them with the leadership to carry out their wildlife trade in a legal and sustainable manner. But the animal rights, their purpose in life is to abolish all animal uses by man, to abolish it, absolutely abolish it. They've got no countenance whatsoever for man using animals in any shape or form. Animal welfare people are different. Animal welfare people, they say that man does have a right to use animals, but when he uses an animal when it is alive, such as when he's using a donkey to pull a cart or an ox to plow a field, no cruelty must be involved in that use. And if he has to kill an animal to gain benefits, such as meat to eat, there must be no cruelty involved in the killing process. Now, those are things that civilized people can accept and understand. But the animal rights say man has got no right whatsoever, to utilize any animal under any circumstances. And that is the difference between the two. If you look at the American RICO Act, it's the Racketeering, Influenced, and Criminal Organizations Act of America. They say that if you tell a lie and you then make money out of that by going to the public and saying, listen, the elephant, they say the elephant is an endangered species. There's no such thing as an endangered species, which we can talk about just now. But they say the elephant is an endangered species. And they then go to the general public in the urban areas of the world, and most human beings live in the urban areas of the world. They've lost touch with nature. And they say to them, in order to save the elephant, to save this endangered species, we need money. So please donate money to us so that we can save the elephant. Now, here they have told a lie. The elephant is not facing extinction, not at all, not in the slightest, quite the contrary. There are 20, 30 times too many elephants in southern Africa as it is right now. And they're destroying their environment. So the American RICO Act says if you tell a lie and you make money out of it, that is fraud, common fraud. If you carry out common fraud more than twice in 10 years, then you have now committed a racket, you've created a racket. And racketeering in America is considered to be organized crime. So your animal rights units everywhere in the world, if they are practicing these kinds of issues, they are part of organized crime. And we are having to contend with these kind of people when we're trying to manage our wildlife.